This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
We're not going to stop until talk becomes action and action becomes progress.
After a Carmel pastor refers to the Black Lives Matter organizers as maggots and parasites, the Carmel Against Racial Injustice group has come together to make sure their voices are heard and their demands are known. Good evening and thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Rev Ted Rothrock has been suspended from ministry, but the protesters who camped out today at St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church want to make sure it's clear where they stand when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. Troy Washington is working for you to explain both sides of the argument at hand.
Our stance is we believe that hate has no home at the head of a community or at the head of a church or any place of worship. People take the rhetoric that someone in leadership gives them, especially their religious leader, and they internalize that. So when you have someone carelessly saying the things that he did, that's going to influence people in the community and bleed over to hate towards people of color in the community.
Even though Rev Ted Rothrock has been suspended from ministry at St. Elizabeth Seton Catholic Church, the Carmel Against Racial Injustice group wants him removed from his leadership position for good after comparing the Black Lives Movement and its followers to maggots and parasites in his weekly message. But there are people standing on both sides of the debate, some who want the leader to return and others who don't. Both stood outside the church on Sunday holding signs and chanting.
I think that it's a prime example that we are still divided, and it's a sad thing to see, but we're hoping that, our stance can be known.
Just standing with Father Ted, he didn't call black people or protesters or anybody else maggots. What he called maggots was Black Lives Matter, the organization, and they are. They're feeding off of desperation in the community to cause all this upset. We all have a freedom of speech, right?
Those who say the priest was wrong and should be punished beyond a suspension say they are only interested in heading in one direction, and that's towards equality and change.
We can talk about it until we're blue in the face, and that's what a lot of people want to do, is they want to talk about it and talk about how they're supportive, but we're not going to stop until talk becomes action and action becomes progress.
Working for you in Carmel, Troy Washington, RTV6.
Troy, thank you. Protesters started gathering at the church around 6 in the morning, and we are hearing that demonstration just wrapped up. Separated socially but united in purpose. That's the message today from a group that led a peaceful protest through Indianapolis. The entire goal was to equip children with the skills they need to be leaders and listen to the youth about their concerns since they are the future. The Indianapolis Ministerium organized the Power Parade 2020. It brought together local youth advocacy groups at the Indianapolis Urban League for the parade. They hope to provide an opportunity for the voices of the future who may have answers to questions or problems that have led to protests in the streets in recent weeks.
We wanted to do something to start empowering youth voices in our community. However, with the pandemic going on, we wanted to also make sure we were following socially distanced safe rules. So that's why we kept everyone in their car. We had masks, hand sanitizer, all of those things.
During the event, they focused on educating participants about the rich history of Indiana Avenue. They also discussed the hope beyond police brutality and the history of protests. Developing right now, a deadly police-involved shooting investigation is underway in Muncie. It happened early this morning near 14th and High Streets. Muncie officers responded to a call of a suicidal person. They found 30-year-old Taylor Warner sitting in a car. They say as they approached the car, Warner got out holding what they assumed was a gun and pointed the weapon at one of the officers. Police say he refused to drop the weapon, and that's when they fired. Warner died later at the hospital. Investigators say the weapon turned out to be a BB gun. They say Warner was also armed with a large butcher knife. Officials say there is body cam footage of the incident. A woman who died earlier today in a shooting near the downtown canal was one of 5 people who were shot overnight in the city. Just after 3:30 this morning, Metro Police were called to the 700 block of Canal Court. When they arrived on the canal walk below, they found a woman suffering from gunshot wounds. She died at the hospital. The woman's name has not been released. This was the second time in less than a week that a person was fatally shot at the canal. 3 other shootings involving 4 people were reported around Indianapolis also this morning. Those shootings were not fatal. Avon police are investigating a possible murder-suicide in an Avon subdivision. Police are at the Lexington Woods subdivision near County Road 100 South. 2 people were found dead inside of a home. Detectives do not believe there is an ongoing threat in the community. Additional details surrounding the incident have not been released. 4th of July fireworks certainly kept Indianapolis firefighters busy this weekend. A fire that damaged a duplex and displaced 2 families on the northeast side was one of dozens of incidents that were blamed on improper fireworks use. A man celebrating the 4th of July told firefighters he was lighting fireworks in his driveway in the 7700 block of New Road when one shot straight into his garage instead of going up toward the sky. The firework lodged in a corner of the garage that housed a lawnmower and several gas cans. A family of 3 and a family of 5 were displaced in the fire. No people were injured, but 2 cats have not been found. Officials say Indianapolis firefighters responded to about 20 trash fires, 5 vehicle fires, 2 tree fires, and dozens of calls for investigations, all of which were believed to be fireworks related. 4 Beech Grove firefighters are recovering after their truck was struck by an impaired driver. The crew of 5 was responding to a field fire last night when the other driver struck them. 4 of the 5 firefighters on the engine suffered injuries. 2 firefighters were thrown 10 to 15 feet away from the fire engine. The 4 firefighters were treated at the hospital and later released. Police arrested the driver that caused the crash for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. Meteorologist Kyle Mountain standing by. And Kyle, it's been a sunny and rainy day off and on all day today.
Yeah, the rain coverage has been a little bit lower than what we had yesterday. Had some of that rain near the Motor Speedway this afternoon, but Storm Team 6 radar showing we've got just a couple of downpours out there. One that's in Sullivan County, that is quickly fading away. Another there in northern Hamilton County, have had occasional lightning strikes with that one, and that'll be one of the issues here with any of those isolated downpours. Some heavy rainfall and lightning. Where you don't have the rain, you got heat, plenty of it. 92 right now in Terre Haute, feels like it's close to 100 degrees. 93 in Lafayette feels like 96, and it is 89 right now in downtown. As we look at the evening planning forecast, those rain chances diminishing with temperatures still around 80 degrees at 11. We'll talk about some better rain chances going forward in just a few minutes.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Now to our continuing coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on Indiana. The state health department reports 6 more deaths. 2,500 Hoosiers have now died from the coronavirus. More than 48,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 521,000 people have been tested in Indiana, with 9.2% testing positive. Starting this Thursday, July 9th in Marion County, everyone will be required to wear a face mask in public. And since this announcement, a local school district that is selling masks has seen a large increase in orders for masks that they are selling. In March, when school closed down, the sponsors for the Ben Davis High School senior class officers started a fundraiser. The idea to sell BD and Wayne Township masks. Since then, they started getting requests for additional colors and personalized logos for all the schools in the district, and now they have sold hundreds. All of the money raised goes to help the district's Thanksgiving drive and food pantry. We talked to Melissa Edwards, one of the sponsors, who says she's had to rely on support from the community during a tough time in her life, and she understands how important it is to help local families.
So it's very close to my heart. It's almost like Christmas to me. So when we are selling all these masks and we are raising this money, to me, every time we get a sale, I just know that that's one more family we can help.
This year, they expect even more families to need their help due to the financial impact from the pandemic. The masks are 2-ply and made of cotton by Zips Dry Cleaning. We do have a link right now on the RTV6 News app if you want to order a mask. On this 4th of July weekend, a disturbing picture of Americans crowding onto beaches, lakes, and at fireworks displays. All of this happening as COVID-19 numbers continue to rise. A national snapshot coming up.
Exceptional care, simply delivered.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
A large group of protesters took down a statue of Christopher Columbus and threw it into a harbor during a 4th of July demonstration in Baltimore. In the video, the statue can be heard breaking into several pieces as it crashes to the ground. The person who took this video says there were at least 300 people there. The protest reportedly started in downtown Baltimore before the crowd marched to the side of the statue and tore it down. No word on any arrests at this time. Crowded 4th of July celebrations have some health officials concerned as the number of cases of the coronavirus continue to rise in 37 states, and at least 14 states are reporting an increasing number of deaths. Here's ABC's Alex Prachet with the details.
4th of July crowds at beaches and lakes and firework displays have health officials concerned. Diagnosed cases of the coronavirus are on the rise in more than 36 states. The president giving a timeline for a vaccine.
And we'll likely have a therapeutic and/or vaccine solution long before the end of the year.
FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn says the agency is overseeing 141 vaccine trials, but could not predict when one would be available.
We are seeing unprecedented speed for the development of a vaccine. We will make a decision based upon the data and science on a vaccine with respect to the safety and effectiveness of that vaccine.
Florida reported 11,400 new cases Saturday, just 100 behind New York at its apex in April. Beaches in South Florida closed. Masks now required in Miami.
So we're hopeful that the measures that we're putting into place will prevent us from having to put in more dramatic measures over the course of this week.
Texas is also a hot spot. The governor issuing a statewide mask mandate. Officials in Harris County, which covers Houston, are concerned not enough is being done.
I'm sure a mask order will make some difference. That said, as long as we're doing as little as possible and hoping for the best, we're always going to be chasing this thing.
And some hospitals in Arizona are nearing capacity. The mayor of Phoenix says the state reopened too quickly.
I'm thankful the governor did allow cities to put masking orders in place, which I think will help. If you've seen some of the data from communities that had them, masks do slow the spread and can be important.
63-year-old Ed Cypres spent nearly a month on a ventilator. He's worried people aren't taking this seriously.
Every time I see something on the news, they're not going to wear a mask. They're going to the bars. My stomach just turns just knowing that.
Hundreds crowding together, forming an island of boats in Minnesota's Lake Minnetonka, crowded pool bars in Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks, and beachgoers packing sandbars in Lake James, Indiana. But New York City, which was once the epicenter of the U.S. outbreak, is now preparing to enter phase 3 of reopening. But the governor has paused plans to allow indoor dining. Alex Prachet, ABC News, Washington.
Hopefully you were able to spend part of this very hot day somewhere cool. We actually made it to 94 degrees in Indianapolis. That makes it, so far for the year, the hottest day that we have had, and we'll be in this territory for the next couple of days. Only hope for a little bit of cool down is going to be some of those isolated downpours. It feels like 94 in Indianapolis with a temperature of 89. Still a little bit of that humidity out there, but you can see around the metro area the influence of some of that rain that moved through earlier has brought temperatures down into the 80s. But Edinburgh, you are at 92 degrees. It's 85 right now in Castleton. Rain is hard to come by this afternoon. We've got our rain showers there in northern portions of Hamilton County, just north of Cicero. Had a little bit of lightning with that one, but you can see that shower is already starting to kind of collapse and not going to produce much in the way of heavy rainfall. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. I think we will be dry through the overnight hours, and our temperature down to 73 degrees, so not a whole lot of cooling happening for us during the overnight. Your Monday forecast starts off with some sunshine. If your work takes you outside, make sure you keep hydrated tomorrow. We'll already be around the 90-degree mark here as we get to noon. 90 degrees at 2 o'clock with those isolated showers and storms once again, and temperatures are going to hold in the 80s right on through 10 o'clock tomorrow night. High temperatures across central Indiana ranging from the lower to close to the middle 90s. 93, the forecasted high in Indianapolis and Muncie. So it's going to feel very much tomorrow like it did this afternoon. Those rain chances a little bit higher as we go into our Monday afternoon. You can see they're low, really non-existent as we go into the morning, and then they kind of hit that apex as we go into the afternoon. Then once we get to sunset, they will fade away again. So here's a look at TrueCast. 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Should be dry between now and then for most of central Indiana. We get to around 3 o'clock and those downpours do start to develop. But I think the biggest impact, again, going to be some heavy rainfall and lightning out of those. Not anticipating any severe weather for us, and there they fade away with sunset. The rain, though, while it may bring some temporary relief from the heat, it's not going to be prolonged at all. Those afternoon highs still in the lower to middle 90s here for the rest of the week. As we check out that 7-day planning forecast, put everything together for you, and there are those highs in the 90s through Friday. Better chance for some showers and thunderstorms, I think, coming our way on Friday, and that will bring in just slightly cooler air as we go into next weekend. Instead of highs in the 90s, we're talking about the 80s. Those 90s look to come back next week. Stay with us. We've got much more on the news at 6 right after this.
At Hardee's, feed your happy.
I'm speechless. I'm overwhelmed. I'm thankful. I realize that people do understand that it's a problem and people want to help.
As students prepare to go back to school later this summer, a local organization that focuses on empowering young women and girls is preparing to help. You Rain Inc. helps young women ages 8 to 18 by helping them feel confident in all areas of their life. The founder, Nicole Norwood, says she wanted to do something special for the girls as they return to class, so she started Project Pads. They are collecting feminine hygiene products and pouches to put them in. In just 5 days, the community stepped up to help and donated, and they surpassed their goal of 100 packages. A big reason why local members at Power B Bounce workout class held a mini drive and have collected hundreds of packages.
It's really that the families are at a disadvantage and financially they can't afford those products. Sometimes they're forced to make a choice, and this might not be one of the things that they can actually pay for. So we want to make sure that if there is a choice and they can't take care of this need, we want to provide it for them.
Myself, because I am a chief of police at schools, this did not take me by surprise because I know a lot of young girls go home daily because, you know, they need products and they don't bring them to school, or they just don't have the means to have them to bring to school. And a lot of schools don't have the funding to provide these type of products to the students. So when I got this information from Tanya, I was like, let's do it.
They plan to continue collecting tampons, pads, panty liners, and pouches through July to distribute to schools starting in August. They also accept financial donations. To donate supplies or request donations for a school, just email youraininc@gmail.com. They plan to collect again every 3 months to help schools across the city. We'll be right back after this break.
They're working for you.
They were among the last places to reopen in the Hoosier State, but now bowling alleys all over Indiana are back in action for the summer. One long-standing bowling center on Indy's east side has a fresh new look inside. Brad Brown shows us how they're ready for the pins to fall.
For more than 3 months, bowling alleys all over Indiana remained silent, but this past weekend saw the pins starting to fall again.
It was weird coming in here and not having any customers. There were several times I was confused on what day it was because my leagues weren't bowling, so I wasn't sure what day we were really here.
All-Star Bowl on Indy's east side has hosted rollers from all over the city for decades.
My mother actually was pregnant with me when she first started working here, so they built it in '76. The old owners built it in '76. My mom probably 78 when she first started working here. Yeah.
The pandemic shutdown allowed time for a full remodel. The old lanes looking brand new again.
You know, when we were doing all the maintenance stuff, I don't want to say I didn't pay attention, but like when we literally opened up, I was like, oh, it's a different bowling center. It's not what I was used to, but I like it. I like it a lot.
That fresh look goes into the alley's cafe and lounge. Local artists sprucing up the space, much the same all over these old walls. Spring leagues turned into summer. Fall leagues will be starting before you know it. All-Stars regulars are ready to get back to throwing strikes again.
Our junior league is probably one of the biggest junior leagues in the state of Indiana. Our senior league is amazingly big too. On Tuesday afternoons in the fall, they take up the entire house. Saturday nights in like the fall and winter, if it's raining and snowing, we're packed. I mean, weather's bad, you have a lot of bowlers, so yeah, people want to get out and be able to go do something.
The All-Star Bowl staff has new policies in place for social distancing and extra sanitation around the facility as well. Summer leagues are underway. They are signing up for fall, and there is plenty of hours for open bowling available as well. All-Star Bowl is open Monday through Saturdays on Indy's east side. You can find a lot more information on their Facebook page. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
Brad, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. See you back here at 11. Have a great night.